Yeah, Reagan, where's the talking robot?
In the Christmas gift pile, because you didn't like it?
I freaking love cameras. It's hard to explain because, people will ask me, how many cameras do you have? And I'll say, I probably have 40, but I probably only use, on a regular basis, like 12 or 15. And, I would say of the probably 40 or so, at least a dozen of them are broken or are parts. It's sort of like a mechanic that might have a broken down Mustang knowing that, well, the headlamps are good. So when I get one that's been in a front end accident, now I've got some headlamps already. And it's, like I'm sort of building, I've built some, I guess what I like to call my Franken cameras, where you're putting together some pieces. But really, each camera has its own signature and its own look. And when you really get into the nitty-gritty of what you want to say, the camera you say it with, just has so much impact in the details. Again, I don't even know how to explain it, but because it's everything.
What kinds of cameras would say different things?
Well, I think the two things that are kind of really, actually there's three cameras that are probably the three that I use the most. And first of all is the Nikon, just my F5s, which are really fast, and it's the 35mm negative, which is the most common negative format in the world. But they allow me to shoot 8 frames a second, 7.5 frames a second, something where it focuses fast. You're not going to ever miss any action, and it's kind of like the default thing because you can always shoot with those, and it's easy to have a variety of lenses. So, if the action's happening fast, when I shoot boxing, for instance, I carry one with an 80 to 200 lens and one with a 20 to 35, and you can't miss anything. So I like those. Then the other thing I shoot with is the Fuji GA645s, which are for a medium format camera, which is a little bit larger negative. 6 by 4.5 is the dimensions of the negative, which is part of how it gets its name, 645. They're bigger negatives, you get more detail, and they're a viewfinder camera, so they're actually even lighter than the Nikons. But kind of the downfall of those is they don't have the interchangeable lenses. I don't know who is God's gift to photography, but God's gift to me was the Fuji. And then I think the Holgas was probably the third camera that I use a lot, and I like them because you can buy a new one for $12. So it really opens you up to tear off the front, put a different lens on there, glue it together, and if you ruin it, you'll go, I hate that I ruined that. But I can afford to. It's not $700, it's not $2,000, it's $12. I've never been able to lay my finger on why it is, but there's something about the plastic lens, especially on the color film, that just gives us saturation. And I've talked to other people about it, and other people that are real I don't know what you call it, technical people, and nobody can really lay their finger on it. So the 8x10 view camera, that's what started the whole thing. So I love my 8x10 view camera too. Just because it forces you to shoot on a tripod, because the camera itself weighs, 20 pounds, 15, 20 pounds, and it takes several minutes, which means an entirely different kind of calming sense of, really, if you get used to things that shoot 7 or 8 frames a second, or even a frame a second, or, even the whole guy can shoot a frame every 5 or 6 seconds, and then comparatively spending 4 or 5 minutes getting out the tripod, put the camera on it, open up the camera, focus it, tell if you're doing a portrait, don't move, have to sit somebody in a chair or put an X on the ground, and using the external light meter, you're getting the meter reading, doing some math in your head about the film speeds or filter, so you get all that taken care of. Set up the lens, put it in the film holder, pull out the dark slide, make sure the person hasn't moved, hitting the thing, holding the filter in front of it, and then you go back and you put the dark slide in, flip it over, pull it out, and you focus again or whatever, and make another picture. And it's just, I didn't think I would ever get to an age or a maturity level where I would enjoy something. It was time consuming and tedious, but got there. So what happens when you get old? My grandma used to say it's hell to get old, and she's probably right, but I'm not that old yet. So.
Yeah.